Good morning, everyone. It is 5 minutes after. Thank each and every one of you for joining us this morning for your August vendor information session. We've got a lot of good information that we are going to go over for you today on behalf of my boss, Steve Clare, our program manager, Mrs. Sophia Sweeney, our team, Dottie Heffelfinger, Kristen Clark. We are so appreciative of you joining us this morning, and we hope that you'll get a lot of good information out of the upgrade that we're currently doing to Army Ignited 1.0 and pushing over to Army Ignited 2.0. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Just a reminder, if you haven't already done so, mute your microphones. And this training is being recorded so that I can send it back out to each and every one of you on the links at the end of the day once we have both sessions complete. So, with that being said, we will go ahead and get started. As you see, it's a small agenda today, but I've got a feeling that we're going to have a lot of questions, and we left plenty of time at the end for Q&A. So we're going to talk about some Army Ignited program reminders that the vendors, need to keep a watch of. Mrs. Sweeney is going to talk about the Army Ignited 2.0 updates. We're going to have some Q&A, and then we'll do a recap. All right. So, account updates. I know a lot of you have been sending in applications into the Army Ignited system looking to try to update your information. There's a reason why we have been disapproving those, and that's because the information with the upgrade going on right now, we don't want you to go and put your information in the 1.0 system and then it not be transferred over to the 2.0 system as they're constantly pulling data, trying to get that up and running. So we ask everyone just be a little patient with us, hold off until 2.0 has been released, and then you can go in and we'll start updating and doing new things with the applications. Roles requests, same thing. We can do those once 2.0 has been activated. There is a possibility, a high possibility, that there will be a new MOA coming out here shortly. We ask that you review that, look it over, and then get it signed and back to us once we send that out to everyone. There will be no new approved vendor accounts until 2.0 launches. So if you happen to know anyone who is interested in participating in Army Ignited and they've been saying, hey, I can't get through or I can't submit my application, just let them know. Be a little patient. Once the upgrade has been completed for 2.0, then they can start adding their information into the system. The 2.0 is going to give you a new feel and some new processes for how we do things with Army Ignited. So get ready for that. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a good upgrade, and a lot of you are going to find some things that you really like about it once everything comes on board. Certificates of completion. Remember, these are required by the vendors at this time to update upon course completion. So if you have soldiers who have taken your course and you have not uploaded a certificate of completion, this is for if they were with you in FY21 or FY22. We're closing those cases out as fast as we can as we're doing the upgrade to make sure that everything flows over smoothly. So you can help us out with that. If a soldier did not complete, submit a certificate of non completion. If they did complete, make sure their certificate of completion is uploaded. That way we can get their goals closed out for them. And remember, this is a part of the responsibility of the vendors that's outlined in the current MOA. So unless you're Pearson VUE or CompTIA, uh, those have different processes, but all of our other vendors, make sure that you've uploaded those MOAs if you've got, those certificates of completion if you've got them. Course payments and start dates. So the CA team is working on pushing the last of the FY22 payments to finance right now. They've been chugging away at that, working multiple hours trying to get this done and get everybody taken care of as quickly as possible. You will see that some soldiers will not be paid until the day of training. That's because they're trying to gauge their dates and make sure that they're taking care of the dates that are coming up at least a couple days to a week out. So be patient with them. If you do not see a payment by the start date, do not allow the soldier to begin. We've gotten references from soldiers and from some vendors who said, hey, we let people start. No. Remember, in your MOA, it stated do not allow soldiers to begin before payment has been received. Once you receive that payment, then you can allow that soldier to begin. If if they do not get it in time and it's not paid for by the start date, and you can't hold off and let them join the class a little late, you need to let the soldier know, hey, maybe you need to withdraw your application right now, and then you can resubmit for FY23 dates. So please be patient with us. Our finance team and our CA team is working very, very hard to get these done and out quickly as possible. Once they have been pushed over for payment to the finance team, you will be able to see them in your credentialing management tab. Uh, but be patient with us. We're trying to get those done as quickly as possible. Just in case any of you still needed it, and we'll be happy to send this back out to everyone at the end of the meetings. But this is an example of a certificate of completion. If you do not have your own, you're more than welcome to use this one. Mark if they completed or failed, or we've even had some visitors cross out through here and put non-completed if the soldier didn't complete. So please send those in to us for the soldiers that have come through your programs that may not have certificates of completion uploaded yet, so we can get those closed out. All right, so I'm going to transfer over to our program manager, Mrs. Sweeney. She's got some great information for each and every one of you about the way ahead and how things are going right now. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Sophia Sweeney.
Thank you, Russell, and welcome everybody. Thank you so much for attending. Let me make sure my device is okay. Perfect. All right. So I know you got lots of questions, and the very first thing I'm going to let you know is that I don't have a date for when they can submit CA requests yet. That's a big question I get like almost daily. So let's talk about a few things first. The current fiscal year, just like Mr. Gray said about the processing of cases, we are doing our best. The team is doing their best to process cases as fast as possible. We're currently on, I want to say it's 29 August that we're working. There's been like surges where one day, I'll just use the 22nd, can have hundreds of cases. And so the team has to try to process all of those. And it takes a while if we can only do like 50 a day, right? Let me see this question. Soldiers have been relaying to us that the ESOs, the Ed centers are relaying to them directly that all soldiers will need to create a new Army Ignite account for 2.0, no matter if they have already an active. Okay, yeah, we'll address that, Nikki. So anyways, going back to the processing in cases. So really appreciate what, that you all are being patient, or many of you are able to adjust. So really appreciate that. We're trying our hardest to get, well, we will have all of these cases for the fiscal year completed prior to the end of this fiscal year. We still got about 5,000 left. And like I said, the team is working overtime just to try to get these done. And payments are being made, some by the start date, some shortly after. Finance, once we pass those cases over to them, it takes them a couple of days to get everything processed, and then they send out the emails asking that if you're available to make the payment, so that they can make the payment. So they make 3 attempts to try to make payment, right? And if they don't get a hold of you within 3 attempts, they're going to reject it. That is just the bottom line. That is the business process that they use. And honestly, they don't have to, give 3 attempts, but we ask that they at least give 3 attempts before they reject it. We can't reopen the case. I mean, we're going through this with some SODRs and vendors who are just upset that they got rejected. If finance can't get a hold of the vendor, they have no choice. Like I was saying previously, we have over 5,000 cases just to get through by the end of September. That means finance has, right now, they have over 5,000 to try to pay, right? So it's like, we just ask that you're very patient with them. And here's the recommendation. A vendor asked me, well, our dates are hard start. Okay, understand. And I really apologize if they can't make it on those dates. What I would recommend is that you ask the SODR to extend their date, right? Or change their start date. If the start date is in the current fiscal year, if they can attend a different course within this fiscal year, we can change the start date. If so that you don't have to, wait for payment or, go through the same process of it's already past the start date. Ask them to change their start date as long as it's in the new fiscal year. If it's in the, oh my gosh, let me back up. In the current FY22, as long as they have a start date before September 30th, we can change that start date if it is a hard start. If the next class is not going to be till the next fiscal year, which is October 1st and on, then ask them to extend their end date. Just extend the end date farther out so that they can finish that class. That is how we're trying to help the SODR from being rejected from that specific course. So please let me know if you have any questions about that. Okay, let me see. Certificate of completion. Again, it is your responsibility to get those certificates of completion uploaded within the system. So Russell or Mr. Gray has been going through all of the old cases and closing them out. If there's nothing in there, we have to close it out. We can't keep these cases open. You can see in your queue who does or does not have a certificate of completion. So I ask that you go in there and do that. If that certificate of completion or that case has, been rejected already, that means the SODR is being recouped for that course. So please, if you know that a SODR did complete it, please reach out on a SNO ticket. Just attach the certificate of completion so that we can either waive that recoupment so they don't get recouped, or if they just didn't do it, then they're going to be recouped, okay? And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat or raise your hand. All right, so waiting to hear if you'll have the ability to do, in the new upgraded Army Ignited 2.0. Oh, okay, go ahead, Sandra. I can't hear you if you're talking. Sandra from Security University, do you have a question?
Yeah, I'd have a question if I unmute. Good morning. I have a number of pending certificates of approval. The certificates, I posted them up months ago, and they still haven't been in a completed state. And I was just wondering, should I take a photo of it, send it to Russell so he could see them and then approve them? Because they've all got their certificates, their completion certificates in there, but there's like 9 of 40 that are pending review.
Yeah.
You want to jump in over that one?
Oh. Go ahead, Russell.
It's Sandra. Yeah, I'm going through those every single day. I'm clearing out as many as we can a day. I'm pushing through them. So as long as they're in there, I will get to them. Just know that I'm working through every day. I'm trying to get all of FY21 closed out right now. So all of those are cleared, and then we'll start working on the FY22s. But yes, I'm hammering those out every single day.
Okay, Russell, I'm happy to just send you a screenshot of it so you could see what's waiting. And I'm, as long as you don't pay them back, that's all I care about.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. He has to clear out FY21 first. But if you already put something in somebody's account, don't, or just disregard what this doesn't apply to you. It's only for those that have never uploaded the certificate of completion into a soldier's account, CA request.
Thank you.
So, yep, no problem. And thank you for uploading all those. Appreciate it. Okay, so when we upgrade to the new system, Army Ignited 2.0, there is some verbiage changes that will happen. Okay, one being, we're not necessarily going to call them certificates of completion. They'll be called pass fail, right? So you'll notice there's going to be some differences. I'll try to remember to point out, the different, verbiage changes that we get. But in the upgrade 2.0, it will be called, you will have the ability to click on pass or fail. And we will discuss that in a second too, because there's some change. There'll be some differences in that. All approved vendors, unfortunately, you will have to re-enter all of your, all of your offerings. Everything that you offered, unfortunately, cannot be moved into the upgraded 2.0. So if you had 50 courses, I am so sorry. Unfortunately, you will have to re-enter them again. The other changes to that is the bundles. They will need to be separated. If you offer books or materials at a cost, right? So you offer the training and it's, I'm just using an example. You offer PMP training for $500 and then but you don't pay for the books and you bundled it in there as books, $20, materials, $20. You will now have to enter it as training, right? And if those books and materials have a cost, they will have to be entered separately as books and materials, just in a separate, I guess, item. Sandra, your hand is still up. And then I see Priscilla has a question.
No, sorry, I just have to take my hand down. Sorry.
No problem.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great, great. So if we already use the AI portal and we have the courses in there for the Air Force School, would that be the same tab or would that be a different tab, or you don't have that information yet?
Not going to be the same as the Air Force. You will have to re-enter for the Army. We are not the same. We don't have the same rules like the Air Force does. So
okay, I'm just asking because since it's the AI portal and it has one tab for that. So, but perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. So again, you will have to separate your training. So there's no need for itemization anymore, right? So you're only going to be adding the title of your course or the title of your exam. That's all you'll be entering, and the cost of that course or exam. Okay. If you give free items, that's something you give, and it does not have to be itemized for us to see anymore. Okay. If you do have cost for books or materials, that will have to be separated. We do have vendors that they enter, the cost because they don't pay for the books, but they know it's a mandatory item that has to be entered separately. So I'm just going to say that one more time because we're going to get hit a lot of times with this question. We're not itemizing like we did in this 1.0. In 2.0, you will only add the title of the course or the exam with the cost. Okay. You'll have the ability to add any prerequisites, that kind of stuff. But if you give free items, that's on you. You give free items, right? We have no control over that. That is your business. If You have cost with the books or materials. That will have to be a separate item entered, okay? Okay, so let me see. If,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, so we had two questions pop up there. Both of them kind of go along the same line. Ken was asking, will 2.0 have a different or streamlined payment processing system? And then with that, Josh asked, will ACH transfers be an option?
okay, so we're still working out the details on the payment process at this time, and until further notice, we will be still paying via credit card like we have been. And Josh, I'm going to tell you probably not, but that is not, we have not gotten to that point yet. Okay. All right, so Kevin says, if, for example, course CompTIA Plus, all you need. Yes, that is all we need is CompTIA A Plus and the cost of that course. Okay. Does this also apply to invoices, quotes? We provide the SODRs so they can upload into the CA request. So the CA, so are we going to require them to have custom quotes? Absolutely. That does not change, right? I know Air Force does it differently. Again, we are not the Air Force. We're not doing everything like the Air Force, okay? We still will require soldiers to have custom course requests, custom quotes from you. So that is their first thing. They're going to have to contact you, again, just like normal, and they will ask for a custom quote from you, okay? That has to be uploaded or it will get rejected. All right. Do they need to be itemized? So that's a great question, Nikki. So if all you're adding to the, your only item is CompTIA A plus, that's the only thing that we need to see on a quote. CompTIA A plus with the cost.
That kind of, I think that kind of answers Brenda's question as well.
Oh, great, great. Yes. Okay, yep, it is going to be easier for you all when it comes to that. We're not going to require the itemization anymore. It has to be separated. And again, you all already don't have exams included, at cost. So you cannot at cost add them into one request or item that you entered, okay? There's a lot of easier things for you all, I think. Okay, can you move to the next slide, please? Yeah, so the other thing is the marketing. Prepare to change your websites or your information that you post on your websites, because we will have a new URL for Army Ignited 2.0. It is going to be an army.mil. And those of you that work on the TA side, you also know, you already know what the new URL is going to be, but it is going to be Army Ignited. And I'll send this out just because sometimes, they've changed this a couple times, but it'll be an army.mil instead of .com. Question, what if the exam is free included in the cost course? I would think it still makes sense to show that, right? Again, you cannot, there's no, if it's a free item, it's a free item. That's it. We don't need to see what your free items are. So the SODR is going to have to ensure that the quote that they upload matches exactly what's listed in the system. Okay, so if you show, CompTIA A plus and then CompTIA voucher for free, we got to kick it back. We're going to reject it. Okay, because it doesn't match. If it's a free item, you don't put it on there. Make sense, Victoria? No problem. Thanks, Russell. Okay, and then just to be clear, we're waiting until the new FY in October for FY23 funding and the launch, but there will be no FY23 requests accepted for the new applicants until the launch of Army Ignited 2.0. So we don't have a date yet on when CA will start accepting new soldier CA requests, okay? When we do that, when we get that date, we will announce it. And that is when soldiers will be able to start submitting their requests in 2.0. I know, like I said, I know everybody wants a date and, you know, more specifics, but that's what I can tell you at this point. So Sandra, the question is, I should put CompTIA Security Plus class and exam? No. If you are giving a free item, it does not go into the system. It doesn't go into the system at all. And it doesn't go on a quote. It just, the title of the course, CompTIA Security Plus, is the only thing that will go into the system with cost. If those other items are free, they don't go into, you know, you don't have to itemize it or show it, okay? If you're offering an exam at cost, that needs to be separated in the system as a Security Plus class and then a Security Plus exam. Hope that answers your question. I see a hand is up, so let me just make sure. Oh, Priscilla, your hand is still up. Did you have a question?
No,
And-
ma'am. I guess I needed attention. Sorry.
No problem. And so, Sandra, did you hear what I was saying? Are you good with that?
I'm good. I'm confused. So before we enrolled our courses and our exam as one item in the system. Now it sounds like, well, they're not free because it's included in the course fee. Is that your meaning of free? Or do I have to put in Security Plus class and then another line item, Security Plus exam fee?
So if it's an exam fee, then you would have, if you have an exam fee at cost, you will have to put that in a separate item as a fee, right? If your CompTIA Security Plus class is $200 and you just give that free exam, then it's just CompTIA Security Plus at cost of $200. Nothing else needs to go in there. But if you do have a cost for your exam, you will have to separate that out. But none of you actually put cost. All of your vouchers in the current 1.0 are at 0. If any of you did put a voucher at 0 cost, I mean, that's a free item. That's not something you have to itemize. That's a free item. But if you have it, you know, like if it's included in your cost, like you're talking about, then you will have to separate it.
Okay, so all of our classes today, whether or not they're a Army person or a non-Army person, everybody purchases a exam voucher. We don't have vouchers. We provide the exam, so we're just buying the exam. And then we deliver the exam. So there's no voucher engaged in in our process. So when a student comes to class, Security University buys their exam opportunity, and then we put that into our exam system, and they take the test before they leave class. So it's all an inclusive package for our regular students. Our Army students, now you're saying when I upload into the system, I have to upload the class, and then I have to upload, because before you said make it all one thing, and it's the class and whatever costs are inclusive in one thing. Now you're saying I have to unbundle. I got that. We can do it. Unbundle it, but will their exam be disapproved?
I think Mrs. Sweeney is telling you that if you have a class on your website and it says you're taking CompTIA A plus and the total price for CompTIA A plus is $2,500, all these items are included in that $2,500. You no longer have to go and say, okay, well, this includes books and exam voucher and study material and so on and so on. On your application, you should put CompTIA A plus, and then out to the side, the cost $2,500. When you send the quote to the soldier, it's going to be CompTIA A plus and the quote $2,500. She's telling you don't have to itemize that out anymore. Only way you have to break out the cost is say if you have your CompTIA course, but you have books that are required for that course and you do not offer those books, they have to get it from another source, then those items have to be listed separately. Everything else, if it's included in that course, all you have to do is put CompTIA and then the course amount of $2,500. You see what I'm
Okay,
saying?
so yeah, so that's what we did before. So there's really no change. We don't have to unbundle the, okay, sorry. Thank you very much, Russell. That was perfect.
If you did add the cost of that exam into your bundle, then you do need to take that out and add it as a separate item. But if you're giving it as a free item that we don't, again, we can't tell you how to run your business on, if that's what you charge everybody else, then that's, when they get the free items, then that's how you list it. It's just the title, the name of the course, and that's it with the cost. All right, so let me go back and answer some of these questions. All right, I see one from, will the vendors be able to see soldiers submissions in 2.0 immediately after soldiers submitted by soldiers? Unfortunately not. That is something we're working on. Eventually it'll happen again, like we had to wait the last time for you all to get a queue. I've already asked that be a priority to get you all a queue, but it will not be that way in 2.0. In 2.0, you will see it right as the soldier at the soldier's end date. That is when you're going to see it, and it's going to require you to upload the grade. Okay. So I hope, I know it's not, we're kind of going backwards a little bit on that, but that's what we have to do. That is why we're going to continue to have them reach out to you for a custom quote. When they get that custom quote, I wish I could tell you that, hey, you're going to see them, but you just won't. You're not going to see them until afterwards. Okay. Let me see. Sue Bailey. So now we would have to make separate quote for soldiers with. So now we would have to make a separate quote for soldiers with books, exam material with cost. If there is a cost, yeah. Did you
Oh,
answer
sorry, I
that
didn't
one?
mean to cut you off. Yeah, I answered that one.
Oh, okay, good. All right, perfect. Okay, Kelly. We have soldiers asking for quotes for FY23. Can we go ahead and get those to them with a start date in October or November, or should we wait until a date comes out? I mean, if your quote is open for, I mean, if it doesn't expire, I myself, I would not do that. I would wait for a date so you know how long, because some people give, like their vouchers are, or I'm sorry, their quotes are only good for a certain period of time. That you might want to wait because there's not a date yet to give. Okay. Kevin said, will vendors have access to ArmyIgnited 2.0 before launch dates for soldiers since we need to resubmit? Yes, absolutely. I will let you know as soon as possible when that date is for, for you to start accessing. And what I forgot to tell you is that if you, well, I don't know if Russell did, but if you're an approved vendor already, approved vendors automatically, all of your, your basic information is going to transfer over to 2.0. You're not going to have to re-sign the MOU or MOA at this time. You will just be able to create your account and start entering your information, but it's not going to be like an approval process again, where you have to like wait for, us to go through everything. Okay. The other thing with that, so I talked about you're just going to be moved over. If you already have like currently, if there's SOTRs in progress, if they're currently in progress, you know, that stuff is being moved over to 2.0 so that they can continue on and nothing changes. Okay. Let's see. And then will we just need to put program details in? Can you explain a little further on what you mean by we will need to just put program details in? Okay, so then answering Sue's question, if there are multiple books materials with cost, can they all be included in one quote, or are they separate quotes for each item required? If you have, so when it comes to the materials, if you add so many books and materials, and it's listed that way, you have like, you know, several books and materials for one course. Obviously, it's going to be separate from the course, but if it's listed that way, the quote needs to mirror that. Whatever it is that you're entering, no matter what, whether it's a book, exam, or, you know, or training, that quote must match that one item that you, or that one training or exam or book that you offer. Okay. And then Kevin said, approved vendors will have all details moved over. We just need to manually resubmit our program, correct? So at this time, yes, we are all your approval, like your all your basic information, your address, your emails, that kind of stuff, that's going to be moved over. Yes, you will have to manually resubmit all of your programs. You're welcome, Sue.
But hopefully it should be a lot easier for you now when you're putting them back in.
I hope so, yeah. Well, it should be. You're just putting a title and the cost. All right, so again, with the marketing, I do want to hit on the marketing still. We still see every once in a while someone adds in their system cool program. Please change that. We are not the cool program. We're the Army Credentialing Assistance Program. Though cool is the repository, we are not like the rest of the services that call their programs cool. We're the Army Credentialing Assistance Program. So I ask, please, when you do your update on your websites, I'll give you the new website as soon as I have the final absolute, you know, link, and you can start doing that, but wouldn't post that until we know for sure when we launch for FY23. Okay. So Brenda says, if we offer a course that has a total price of more than 4,000, do we enter it as the actual price, or do we list it as 4,000? If we offer a course that has a total price of more than oh, I see what you're saying. You can still add it as, you know, if it's 4,500, then you can still add it as 4,500. Still, the same things still apply. If, you know, if you're a program that needs to break up by phases, you can absolutely do the same thing in 2.0. You're going to still kind of keep it the same way, right? We hope you still keep it the same way for those that have very, very, you know, pricey programs. So one thing that was mentioned earlier was this review, right? SOTRs have the ability to review your programs and your, you know, what they get, like if they loved your training and your, you know, everything that you did for them, they will be able to rate you on there, and there will be a comparison in this system for them to see. So if I recommend breaking up programs, if they're, you know, 10,000, that kind of thing, I definitely recommend, you know, breaking those out. Ken asked, my next course start October 24. If you're active in 2.0, will Army Ignited be flexible with applications, or will you stay in force? Okay, so as far as the 30 business days, it still will remain as, now we changed it to 45. Again, language is going to change a lot. 45 days out from the day that they submit. So 45 days from the start date. The other thing is, from the day they submit, They can't push out, they can't ask for a date like more than 90 days out. So 45 days is the start date. They can't go any further out than 90 days. So we had soldiers that were submitting CA requests, like they might have been submitting it in October 1st for September 1st of 2022. So we're not doing that anymore. It is just 90 days out. But 45 days is still going to remain the same. 30 business days, 45 days. Okay. Sandra asked, will you send marketing materials for the Army credentialing program? As far as marketing materials, I do have some that is in Army Cool, but those will all be updated. So if you wait a little while, you'll see some things that you can download and use. And
We have one right above it with from Nikki.
Yeah, I saw that. Sorry about that, Nikki. Do you expect Ignited 2.0 to go live before or after 1 October? Also, we have a webinar with you all to walk through vendor schools through a tutorial. I can't give you a date, okay? I cannot give you a specific date on when it'll go live. But yes, there will be training for vendors, and then I will make a step-by-step guide and all this before it goes live, okay? All right, let me see. Vendor school, yeah. So you will definitely get training before we ever start, okay? To follow up on Nikki's inquiry, with the education counselors overseas, will the education counselors overseas have training on a 2.0? It seems as if they're not well versed in the initial CA program, and that has been a challenge for us as a vendor. So the counselors still will not have a, I give them webinars every month, right? Every month on the CA program, but they do not have a role in CA like they do in TA, okay? That process from the start of Soder submits, it goes directly to our office for processing and then to finance for payment. That is not going to change even in 2.0, okay? There is a forum, right, that will be in 2.0 that we will be able to post information on, or if you have questions on, and eventually there, well, I'm not going to go into that, but there will be a forum for you to be able to ask questions. You will be able to have access to like emails and stuff like that within the system, okay? Okay, so Brenda said, so the start date must be more than 45 days, but less than 90 days from the date they upload their quote. Is that business days or calendar? So it is all going to be calendar. So we're now going to talk calendar days instead of business. Okay. And then Sandra said, I was at a conference last week and met with many commanders who requested Army credentialing program materials. We're asking commanders and Commanders and Masters are? I don't know what that is. That what that
Yeah,
is?
so we're trying to get the word out. Everybody says, "Oh, the cool program." It's like, no, this is the Army credentialing program. It's completely different. And every time we talk about it to them, they say, "Well, send us materials." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm happy to send you materials, but it's not Army cool." And we think that if we can get to their chief master sergeants, or I mean, they've all come to me and said, "Wow, this is a great program. How do we learn more about it?" And it's not my job to teach them more about it, but I would love to have something to give to them to say, this is what, senior leadership can push down to everybody, for, their own best interest.
Yeah. Oh, no problem. Yes, I will make some specific stuff for soldiers. We say, we don't have chief master sergeants in the Army. Like first sergeants, master sergeants.
I apologize. I'm so not military. My bad.
That's totally fine. Okay, yes, I will do that for you, Sandra. I'll actually put it out in Army Cool soon, because Army Cool is also about to have a refresh. Okay, we're doing a new look and feel on Army Cool. It's going to be really nice, and there will be a CA page again there's some things that it's still going to remain similar, very similar, but colors, all that stuff, the look is going to change a bit. So that's going to be really nice. So I don't want to give you stuff that's going to be outdated in a couple of, months. I will give you stuff that is current for then. Yes, Sandra?
So it's been a really unique experience this last year with the credentialing program. We had a large group from Fort Bragg show an interest in a cyber credential. That same group wants to have another cyber credential next year, and they're already planning for 2024. It's a very interesting opportunity. We've taken the course off of the base, and they have a very large success rate, a very big success rate. So they're very excited, and you have given them an opportunity to do it. And they're the ones leading this, not me. I'm sort of like, I'm their enabler. I don't go out and promote a class. I don't go out and advertise a class. They're coming to me. And it's really, it should be shared that people can do this. I'm not sure I know how to tell you about it other than there are groups of 20 individuals that are making individual decisions to attend a class. They ask us to do a class off base, and they all show up. They get their command to allow them all to attend the class in different sections. So we might have 3 dates for them, and then they all can next year get the next level up credential in cyber, which is important to them. So I was like, how do I share that with you guys and promote this really great, it's not Soldiers for Life, but it is, similar to something like that.
Well, I want to address that a little bit, though, because I think it's wonderful. However, we have to be very careful if a soldier reaches out to you as a vendor for a group type training. Just remember, we don't do group training. We don't fund group trainings or unit trainings because that could violate the MOA and installation access, okay? Even if you're doing this off the installation, if a group is coming to you to set something up, that definitely has to be run through, the ESO, right? So if, and this is how I will put this, okay? So
Let me interrupt. Most of these people don't know each other, so it's not a group.
That's perfect. But if
Yeah.
someone's asking you specifically to create a training, that will get you in trouble. Okay, so I will just tell you this. If you have, you put out like, I don't know, maybe you do like something on Facebook or whatever, and you say, hey, I'm having an info session on this date for anybody that wants to attend for these classes that I'm going to be offering. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. If a soldier asks you about it, totally fine. You gave a webinar. They're going to ask you about it. If they say, if the commander comes to you or the, whoever, first sergeant, whoever comes up to you and says, hey, I want to do a group training, at that point, you have to let them know that we don't, CA doesn't fund group training. You got to go through the ESO for that, through installation access. But I am having these courses on these dates. Here are my dates for all of my courses, right?
Thank you. That is what we're doing. I appreciate that very much, Sophia.
I'm glad because, we don't want to go through that route because Lord knows legal will get involved and it gets ugly, right? So just, if you have dates out there, not because somebody asked you to do a specific date, but those dates just happen to be the dates you want to give training on, hey, great. If all of them submit separate, CA requests with their own quotes, absolutely awesome. They can absolutely do that. Okay, we are also in Fort Bragg and agree, wondering the same thing about promoting flight training to soldiers. It's mostly word of mouth right now. Yep, I mean, again, you can, like Russell said, you can always ask to leave flyers in the Ed Center because, again, Ed Centers are supposed to treat you just like academic institutions. You have the same rights as they do when it comes to putting up your flight or your flyers and that kind of stuff. So I would just ask that you run it through us, to just review, and that would be fine. You can absolutely ask them to do it. If they don't post it for anybody else, then they have the right to say, nope, I don't post it for any other vendor or any other school, so we can't post yours. But that doesn't, they all post stuff for schools. So again, just be very careful on that. That goes along with, the next thing, which is installation access must be requested through SNOW still. It will be a different process in 2.0, and it's actually really, I think it's a better process for you all when it comes to installation access. You will now be able to be specific in your request to where you're trying to go. Okay. So that's a good upgrade. I talked already about the in-progress cases, and the pending review or pending cases are going to be done by the 30th of September and hopefully funded by then. So, that is, in the that's upcoming. Let me see. Some SODERs will still be able to, we're working on hopefully being able to do custom requests still, like say you haven't entered something, right? So you might offer 50 courses, but the only course you forgot to add or whatever is CompTIA Security Plus, right? But the SODER knows that you offer it, you just didn't upload it into the system. They will be able to ask for that, but we will ask that you update your application so that you can add those courses, so it's easier for them to, select. I know some of you have like 1,000,001 courses in there, so it's going to take you a little bit of time, but if you could, you notice that somebody's asking for something specific and you left it off, just go back in and do that. It's not going to be as easy for flight or aviation type courses, because I know, that could be totally random. So, you could play it by ear. Okay, let me see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I didn't talk about. I talked about Army Cool and how that is going to change. It's going to be great. It's going to look really nice. I think I talked about everything else. So at this point, what are your questions about 2.0 or anything currently? Okay, when we add a new program for approval, it used to take 90 business days for the approval and until the SODER could start the requesting program. Has this changed? Also, when you add okay, first, we've never had, it's never been 90 business days. It's always been 30 business days from the start date.
Nikki, are you referring to like adding a new program to the Cool site?
Oh,
Okay,
okay, yeah. Go ahead. Okay, so that will be a little different. We're still working on, stuff for the vendor. There will be some changes. I'm not gonna say one thing yet. You're not gonna have, it's not gonna take 90 days for the approval, but we will give you more info on that as we get closer, because we're still working through the issues or details of the process for vendors, okay? Also, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be 90 days. I'll be notified once it is approved for SODERs to start requesting. Yep, we're working on that too. You most likely will get an email on that. And also, when we add new programs, once Ignited goes live, what will be the turnaround time for new programs to be approved? Okay, so that's kind of the same question. We're going to work on that, and we will definitely have some more answers for you on that. Okay. Is there an estimated week it might go live? Possibly possibly the end of, or actually beginning maybe of October. Just like Russell said, can't really tell you yet, because we don't know. We don't have a hard date. Could be earlier, could be later. Not sure yet, but we will let you know as soon as we know. Um,
Yeah, as soon as we get this information and we're authorized to go ahead and release it to the field, you guys know every time something new comes out, I send you a keeping you informed email. You will receive that email. It'll have hot blasted all over it. I might even throw some sprinkles or something all over it so it catches your eye. But we're gonna send this out to you guys as soon as we have information to be able to release to you.
It would be a safe start date. A safe start date would be December, the end of December. That's probably the safest. I can't tell you yet until I know for sure what the actual date is. But if you want to push out dates for the end of September or beginning in January, you can absolutely do that. That's very safe. But I don't know. It might be earlier, could be later. There any other questions? You can raise your hand if you'd like, if you need, if you don't want to type it in the chat. Okay, back to you, Russell.
Outstanding. Well, again, everyone, we greatly appreciate all of your patience. We know this is, you know, been weighing on you and you've been frustrated because you don't know and you guys know about as much as we know, and we've given you the information we know. So as soon as we get more information, we will be giving it out to each and every one of you. So again, if you have questions, my email, the org box email right there. Shoot us an email and we'll try to get those answered for you as quickly as we can if we have that information to release. But we're going to give you a little bit of your time back this morning, unless anyone has any last minute alibis. And if not, then we're good to go. I thank each and every one of you for joining us today. Again, after the afternoon session, we will send this out to all of you. We'll send you the YouTube link so you can go back and review this information and share it if you need to. Thanks for all you do, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and stop the video recording right now, and we will look forward to talking to each and every one of you soon.